Welcome to this web lecture on sustainability as a fuzzy concept. My name is Arjan Kirkels. I'm working at Eindhoven University of Technology in the Innovation Science Department. In my research, I focus on sustainability assessments in support of innovation processes and the sustainability transition. In this web lecture, I will talk about three topics. First, what is sustainability? Second, sustainability as a fuzzy concept, and finally come up with a summary of what we talked about. So the first question is, what is sustainability? Well, if you look it up in the dictionary, it will tell you something like, sustainable is capable of being supported, able to be maintained. And that's the essence of what sustainability is about. It's about maintaining our ecosystems over longer periods of time, maintaining our societies. Another approach is looking at often used definitions. And then the Brundtland definition is the most quoted one. Brundtland states, sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Now, the Brundtland report is from 1987, and after that period, the concept of sustainability attracted a lot of attention. We see so, for example, in the world conferences, the Rio conference, the Rio +20 conference. We see so in policy circles, for example, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. But we also see so in practice. Climate strikes, people going on the streets, but also the implementation of solar cells and wind turbines. Now, the question, of course, arises, how come that the concept became so popular? In that context, I like to quote Radcliffe. Radcliffe states, like motherhood and God, it's difficult not to approve of it. If you look back at the Brundtland definition, it essentially states, we want a better world for everyone. And how can you not approve of that? However, this is only half the quote, because Radcliffe continues. At the same time, the idea of sustainable development is fraught with contradictions. And it's these contradictions, the tensions, that I'm interested in for this web lecture. So let's explore that a bit further. Where do those tensions come from? Well, for example, they might arise because people have a different perspective on what's going on. Optimists might state, we're living in an era where for the first time in history, Earth can support 7 billion people. Pessimists might oppose that, stating it's the first time that we are actually facing global environmental problems. It also might be due to the view that we have on technological development and what it does for society, technology as a savior or as a destructor. For example, fossil fuels enable us to live in modern, large-scale cities and advanced societies. At the same time, fossil fuels have caused global warming. They lead to acidification, depletion. Another dimension is a balance between now and then, current generations and future generations. And then questions pop up like, how many generations in the future should we take into account? And what are the needs of those generations? It is also about a balance between here and there, developed countries versus developing countries. Often people talk about sustainability as maintaining our current way of living, our societies. But we also have to take care of the poorer people on the earth. And that directly relates to my last point. Is it about needs, basic necessities, or is it about desires, everything that we want? Can we fulfill that by growth? And can, for example, growth be an engine for transformation towards a sustainable society? Or is it about facing limitations? And with that, do we need to make choices? Another way of looking at things is going by the concept of people, planet, profit as a practical way of looking at sustainability. People referring to social ethical aspects, planet referring to ecological aspects, profit referring to economic aspects. Elkington introduced the idea of people, planet, profit, and he states that sustainability is in essence the fact that the three domains interact. And you need all three in order to come up with a sustainable development. And that can be reflected in the figure that you see below. social and natural economic. And now we can use that figure in order to try to understand better what sustainability is about. Here we see the same figure. And the first question that then pops up is, for example, how is sustainability defined? Is sustainability the sweet spot in the middle where the three circles intersect? Or is sustainability about the total surface area covered by the three circles? You could also focus on specific individual circles. And then, are all the circles equal of size? Or should they be equal of size? Are the circles exchangeable? For example, can you sacrifice a little bit of the environment in order to have strong economic growth? And are there limits? Are there minimum values that the circles should represent or should maintain? And finally, there's the question of whether the representation is complete. Several authors argued for adding additional circles, for example, related to cultural diversity or institutions. To wrap up for this web lecture, we first talked about what sustainability is, and it is essentially about a better world. However, it's a fuzzy concept. It's fraught with contradictions. And then we looked more in detail, but unpacking the concept confirms its fuzziness and built intentions. Of course, that leaves us with a question on how to deal with that. Well, there are several ways forward. For example, you might make the meaning explicit if you use the concept of sustainability. Or be critical and reflective if others use the concept. And finally, it allows you to use that fuzzy concept strategically. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.